Welcome back to the Good channel. The good, the bad, and the undiagnosed. I will be the host today. Uh, Good lord, it's late. Yeah.
No,
No
we're
what?
sticking with the accent.
What?
Are we doing
You want
are
the
we doing
accent?
Southern accents tonight?
Oh god. No. I
Dear
get
Oh,
God,
I
no.
get
great.
enough accents on Mondays in our D&D campaign.
Dear God. The man of
Um,
1,000 voices.
a man of 1,000. I hate my life because my throat hurts every time I try to do voices because I don't know how to do vocal warm-ups.
There's warm-ups you
Oh
can
my
do?
god, yes, dude. There's like a whole range of things. I'm not a voice actor. You got to do warm-ups, save your voice. Because like if you're stretching your vocal cords to like a deeper or higher tone that's not natural to you, you have to
Oh, that's what you mean.
you have to like warm them up. Yeah. But anyways, today's topic is not about voice acting or voices. Today's topic is a ramble shit of a thing that I tried to make into a fun topic or like a game show type of thingy. Couldn't do it because I did it last minute. It is titled Hot or Not, but it is in fact not that. I just have a list of topics that we're going to talk about, and you guys are going to give your opinions on, and I'm going to judge silently. Starting off, because we're all gamers, well, at least two of us are. One of us likes to pretend, David.
I was about to say, what the fuck did I do to you today, bro?
uh, I'm just going to start out and ask you guys, what is your favorite genre of gaming? And David, I think I know yours. But Jen, I really have no idea what you enjoy as gaming.
Um, I don't know what the name for it is, but
Mhm.
it's definitely like that Skyrim, Zelda, like that story progression, but you also have those individual like side quests that you have to complete.
RPGs.
I'm a completionist.
RPGs.
So,
So here's my
yeah.
question, though. Open world Zelda or old Zelda? Because I know you've played both. Well, actually, I don't think you've played the open world Zelda. I know you've played the old Zelda.
I haven't played Open World Zelda, but I loved the old school like Ocarina of Time because it had like the side
So
quests
good.
again.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best. It's the best.
So
Um,
good.
and then like Skyrim,
Yeah, so
like
you're
I've
more of an
played
RPG, open worldy type of just kind of do the
right.
game type. Okay. Okay.
Yep. Uh-huh. That's my thing.
I don't I don't know if I have a specific favorite. Um the the genre I play the most would be shooters. Um
There's a specific
but
type of shooters that's on this list.
but but my all-time favorite game is Smash Bros, and it's a fighting game.
That is a fighting game.
So,
That's okay. I'll give you that one.
you know what I mean?
I will say it's a toss up for me. Because though I do love open world RPGs, the stuff like that, like the Zeldas, the Skyrims, just because I can sit and shut my brain off, and those are some of the best memories I've had.
Yeah,
Besides like
they're
Halo
so good.
shooters, I wouldn't call myself a Halo or a shooter gamer because I don't really play them that much. But like, the best specific gaming memory I have is getting Skyrim, and this is like when YouTube was brand new too at the time. I had Skyrim, and I sat down and I got lost in a cave. So I had my phone or computer or laptop or something, tablet, I don't remember what it was at the time, up watching a Skyrim video while playing the game. And it was just, I think it was Christmas too, actually. Like the Christmas after
Ooh.
Skyrim came out. Oh, it was such a good
Ooh,
time.
what a
Um,
time to be
I
alive.
know. However, I think I have to say my favorite genre, just because of the versatility of it, would be the open world crafters.
Give me an example.
No, back it up.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what's an example?
Did you just boot scoop boogie on into screen?
Oh, I saw that too.
Into view?
Yeah, I saw
You
that
just
too.
fucking shout out for the smoothest
Yeah,
intro I've
I
ever
gotta
seen on
say.
camera, bro. That was good. That was good.
Oh God. But yeah, David, you pointed this out for me because I didn't really think anything about it with my versatile game because I want to make games and I've got plans for them.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm not going to stay them because I don't want copyright and them to get stolen and all that stuff. But
yeah.
yeah, I have. I gotta say, I think those are my. I tend to find myself playing those for hours and
They're fun
hours
because
and hours.
it brings freshness. So the game itself
Mm-hmm.
already is fresh. Like when you start playing a new game, which is like
Yep.
fresh and it's exciting.
Yep.
Games like that,
Mm-hmm.
it's like it happens twice. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Though I
What
have
fighting
to
games are we talking about? Can
like
you give an example?
Minecraft, Valheim,
Okay.
V Rising, Deep Rock Galactic, I think, is a
I don't think
crafting
I've ever
game.
played that one.
It's like you're dwarves and you're mining on planets and you create
Yeah,
bases.
somebody told me about it. Yeah.
Factorio is one, but that's more of like a top-down kind of. There's another one where you're like astronauts on a space and you land and you have a ship where your oxygen is and you're tethered, but you can set more tethers to like extend your reach, and then go mine and do stuff like that on a world. That one looks very fun.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. Oh, Void Train. Void Train is another one I want to play with both of you.
What?
Void Train. So you're on a train going through a there's a whole thing. I'll explain it off screen because it's a great game. But we're gonna go back to this list, and horror is at the top of this list because you guys know me and my horror love. Hot or not, and expound.
Hot, absolutely.
Okay.
But I am a fucking coward. I love scary games.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely despise being scared. It doesn't make sense. I know, but they're chef's kiss.
Yeah.
It's crisp.
So, I'll let Jen talk before I go into a long-winded explanation again. I'm sorry.
Nope, you're okay. I would say pretty similar. Definitely hot. I'm a bigger chicken than David, for sure. I won't even leave the van in Phasmo.
Don't worry, guys. I got cameras.
Actually, I might, because we did record that Phasmo session, I might just throw it up on this channel.
Insert a clip.
Yeah.
Yep, that was me. Okay, and I was braver this last time we played, but
That you were.
I really, really love being scared. Like that adrenaline rush you get from being scared, I love it. Like it's addictive, but I'm also a huge chicken.
Mhm.
So
It makes me feel
it's like
alive.
this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not alive, but like it's exciting, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, also terrifying. So
From a developer standpoint, and I think this is why I love that genre so much, even though I'm talking like I'm a developer, I'm not, but I kind of understand it the more I get
You have
into it.
aspirations.
Yeah. Sound design is some of the best sound design I've seen in games is in horror games, because that is the whole thing about horror is setting the atmosphere and setting the sound and stuff like that. I have some specific examples in the list, like Phasmo, which obviously we've played. Amnesia: The Dark Descent. That was the game I was thinking about. You have that game?
I have that game.
Really? I want to
Yeah.
play it.
Is that the one PewDiePie used to play all the time?
Yes, it's a very old game. It's where a lot of the horror YouTubers got their start.
Loved it.
I loved it too.
It.
I've never played them, and I want to.
Same.
Soma, that game we were originally talking about, was made by the people that made Amnesia: The Dark Descent. So obviously Soma is on there. We've talked about Skyrim, Minecraft, Valheim, V Rising. I'm going to shoot a topic over to David because I know he loves them. Extract shooters and battle royales.
Okay. There's only one that fucking matters anymore.
Tarkov,
And
I'm aware.
It's still in fucking beta.
Yeah,
10 years
it's
later.
been in beta for so long.
It's Escape from Tarkov, and there are other extraction
Type shooters.
But the thing that separates the other ones from Tarkov for me, and why I love Tarkov so much, is the realness you experience in Tarkov.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because, you know, like you've experienced fucking doing military shit out in the field as well. Tarkov is as close as it gets.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And we're not talking about mil sims like fucking Arma and
Ready Player One. Not Ready Player One.
Desert.
Ready or Not. That was the other one.
Is it Ready or Not? No, Ready or Not I actually like. But
I've never played
I'm talking
it, but
about
I
like
want to.
Hyper
realistic mil sims.
Like Arma. There's another one. It's very popular that people play all the.
I don't know. The army had me play Arma for training.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
Dude. I talk to people about that so often, and they're like, "Fuck,
what are you talking about?" I think that was a 10th Mountain thing.
Okay, but so Tarkov gets into realism in a way that the other games don't. So as far as extraction shooters go, Tarkov does it the fucking best, in my opinion.
Oh, 100%.
And it's fucking
I've seen.
top tier.
Did you see the Tarkov? I want to call it a clone. It's a Tarkov clone, but it's for VR.
Oh, the Escape or the Ghost of Tabor.
Ghost of Tabor. Yeah, or whatever. Yeah. It's something like that.
It looks
looks
fucking
great.
it looks like a blast.
Yeah.
It looks like shit.
I mean, graphics, obviously, because of
We're
what it's
not
trying to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're not there yet for it to be what it's supposed to.
Well, I
but
think
for
it's got.
what it is,
Yeah.
it looks like it'll be a fucking blast.
I think it's got too much going on to have good graphics on that system.
Absolutely, technology isn't there yet.
No.
For gaming.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, I have to say, because I'm not, like I said, I'm not a shooter fan. I've played Tarkov. I've done multiple wipes on it now at this point. That game gets me. It gets me the same way horror gets me. Like you go and you get in a gunfight and you either win or you die, and you learn from that and you move on, or you win and you're just like, I won.
Yo, bro, the high from killing or wiping a team in Tarkov is fucking
my god.
Insane. It's insane. And then as far as battle royales go,
I gotta say Apex is my favorite for battle royales.
It's absolutely. It was very exciting because I had just found out. Go ahead, Jen.
I was just gonna ask, wouldn't Super Smash Brothers kind of be battle royale?
I think that's more of a fighting battle royale.
Yeah.
I'm talking specifically a shooter battle royale.
Shooting.
On this one. Yeah.
Okay.
But
okay, now I follow.
Yeah, fighting battle royales like Smash Bros.
Hates it.
I don't actually know if there's any other ones. Oh, I guess they are. There's Shonen, the Shonen ones.
Shonen Jump Force or whatever the fuck it's called. I think it's Jump Force.
It's the anime version of Smash Bros.
Yeah, they have the anime one. Yeah. They have Smash. They have the Nickelodeon one too.
Oh, Nickelodeon Smash, I think is what it's called.
They have Brawl Stars too. They have like a Sony. I think that's the Sony one.
Dragon Ball's doing one. I think in the Xenoverses you can have multiple people on a team fighting each other. I think.
Are they doing that now?
I think.
First of all, don't even get me started on Dragon Ball games.
That's a whole separate topic.
Budokai Tenkaichi, the first one.
They're bringing back Budokai 4.
Everything went downhill after that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care. The first one was the greatest, and everything else.
Which one was the one you had the pegs for the characters that you would move around on the board? Tenkaichi 2?
Yeah, it was 2.
Okay, that was my favorite.
Yeah.
You had the overworld map where your little pegs are, and you and then you would fight. Yeah, that was my favorite. Anyways.
But yeah, Apex takes the cake for shooter battle royales.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was PUBG came and everybody was like, "Wow, this is fun," and when they went to PC, most of the lobbies were gaming as big at the time.
Oh my god.
And then everybody was like, "Wow, we want this," so everybody started fucking doing it. Now it's oversaturated.
Oh, it's well oversaturated at this point.
But as far as like graphics to actual gameplay goes, Apex takes the cake. Stuff like Fortnite is like way too cartoony.
I hate the cartoony aspect of Fortnite.
I
hate it. I hated it.
Fortnite is all about emoting now.
I hate how sell-outy
it is. I don't fucking I don't care.
And this is gonna sound old manny of me, and fine, fuck you if it does. I guess I'll be the old man.
Get out my lawn.
Am upset. Oh, hold on, my back itches. Oh, fuck, I can't reach it. I am upset about the characters they're putting as skins in Fortnite.
Such as?
Halo, Star Wars, fucking, I think God of War was in there.
Why does it bother you?
It's sellout. It is sellouty, and I hate the fact that this cartoony-ass game, and yeah, I'm being hypocritical by this point. Like, this is 100% hypocritical. I'll realize that, and I'll admit it. But I hate this on my part.
How are you being hypocritical?
I hate this game. I hate it. I hate how cartoony it is. It doesn't control well. It feels like I'm fucking skating on ice every time I try to walk and shoot something.
Absolutely.
Like, it's just a god-awful game, in my opinion. And I hate the fact that the characters that I have played and loved and seen on other aspects are now just getting sold out into this shit show of a game that's meant to sell to children and streamers.
I heard they were adding Harry Potter.
Probably. If you enjoy the game, fucking great. But, like...
I mean, it's okay. It's
too
cool,
much at this point. It's too much.
I understand. When I was younger, I was a big Harry Potter fan, still am, and I wanted to see more Harry Potter. I wanted more. Yes. So I can get the desire behind taking Harry Potter from the books, from the movies, and putting it in a game so you can experience more.
I mean, it's that way with all
you get to see the. Yeah.
Excuse me, all the characters.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Soul Calibur games?
Yes.
you remember how they had a bonus character, and
No.
it was different depending on system. So like, let's say Soul Calibur 4 was for Xbox, I think it was Yoda and Darth Vader, but then for
I had
Sony,
no
for
idea. Yeah,
PlayStation,
I had no idea.
it was like two other characters.
Like I said, I know
Do
them,
you
never
think
played them.
do you think that is also selling out?
Yes, I hate it. Create your own ideas.
Ooh.
Come up with originals. I mean, obviously, it's so hard to come up with an original idea now at this point in time. But like, stop
I think it's
using
cool
other
and
people to make property on your game.
so yes, for Fortnite because they abuse it.
Yes,
But I
absolutely.
think in moderation, like the Soul Calibur games did, like you get like it's like a little homage. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like,
I
hey,
mean,
you made this great thing.
mhm.
I want to share that with more people too, because you know some people in, like, let's say it was fucking the Star Wars characters.
Yeah.
Because I knew you could play. I know you could play either Vader or Yoda or both. I'm not sure.
Oh,
But
Soul Calibers. Yeah.
so Star Wars fans, for one, might not necessarily be, or Soul Calibur fans might not necessarily be fans of Star Wars,
Mhm.
but they see this content and they're like, "Wow, this is pretty dope," and now
They're in
they're
Star
gonna
Wars.
go check it out.
I
They kind of
get.
want to learn more. You
I-
know what I mean? I feel like it's like kind of a
I get the marketing aspect.
who
I
created it.
get that whole thing. Again, I'm being hypocritical. I fucking hate Fortnite, and I hate that they're doing this with characters that I like as a child and grew up with, and now it's
Yeah.
in this shit fucking game. Whatever, call me an old
Uh,
man. We're
gonna
moving
go back.
on. Oh, go
I'm
ahead. I'm
gonna
sorry,
go
John.
what Frank's. I'm gonna go back to what Frank said earlier. He doesn't like to share his toys.
I don't.
Just
I
like
did
to
say
share.
that.
That's true.
I don't like being called out on my shit either. We're gonna move on to one last topic in gaming before we move on from video games in general. This one's near and dear to my heart. Souls-like games, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro. Those are all FromSoft original games. There are some others that are considered Souls-like games called Nier Automata, which I've never played. Neo, which
I
I've
heard
never
it's
played.
really good.
They're all great games by like gaming reviews, stuff like that. They're all great games. Never played them. Lords of the Fallen was another one that is apparently like it's not a very popular game, but it's like a loved game amongst the Souls-like people.
Mm-hmm.
I tried playing it. I couldn't get into it.
So from somebody who's only played one.
Oh yeah, you
Souls-like
played the worst
game.
one too. Dark Souls 2. It is the worst one. It's the worst one. All right. Anyways, continue.
So I played Dark Souls 2 first.
Yes.
That was the only actual Dark Souls game that I played. I didn't like it because of how hardcore it was, which sounds hypocritical because I love
That
Tarkov.
was because of the controls. I'll give you that one.
Everything felt like clunky. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's because the controls were clunky.
And then
The controls for that game were
yeah.
clunky. That was I think, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But anyways, then I played Elden Ring, which, correct me if I'm wrong,
It is
it's
also
not.
a FromSoft game.
It is from
It's
Soft.
FromSoft.
Okay. But it's not Dark Souls.
No, it is a completely different universe.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Oh, I thought it wasn't tied in.
Not at all.
Separate universe.
Separate
Okay.
universe at all. Separate universe completely.
I absolutely loved Elden Ring.
Mm-hmm.
The flow of combat and fucking how immersed you get in the actual world and like exploration and all that.
Mhm.
Absolutely loved it. But Dark Souls 2 ruined Dark Souls games specifically
Yeah.
for me because I just fucking cannot. With
I
Dark Souls
want to
2.
do an experiment with both of you, okay? And I have all of the Dark Souls. I have all FromSoft games pretty much for the Souls like. I want
Yeah,
to.
you
I
fucking
want. I do. I've beaten them all too, except for Dark Souls 2. I physically cannot beat it. I just
Have you
cannot.
platinum yet?
No, I don't platinum. I'm not
Okay.
spending hours and hours and hours getting an item to get my item discovery up, so I can grind hours and hours and hours and get a specific
Here's-
weapon
He
to
likes to
platinum.
touch grass, David.
Here's my thing. He's already put hours and hours and hours
I have.
into.
I'm actually 2 achievements away from
That's-
platinuming Bloodborne, which
That's
I will
my
get.
only.
Which I will
I'm
get.
not saying you have to focus it. I was just
Um,
asking if you have.
So
What was it?
I want to have both of you play. You specifically, David, played Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne, which I own. and I'll let you borrow.
I I did play Bloodborne.
I
That's the PlayStation one, right?
yes, 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 it is.
Set in like fucking
It's my favorite. It's my favorite.
degraded France or something.
No, God, it's a completely different universe. Eldritch horror.
I was
Essentially,
referencing
it
a
is.
meme
Oh,
from back in the day.
oh. But I want to have Jen play Dark Souls 3.
God.
I want to see that.
Oh god.
Because arguably it's the best controlled game of the three, in my opinion.
Okay, one, I don't know why you want to see that. Two, I don't know what that reaction was, David, but I don't like it.
I'm just saying, you startle easily,
You do startle easily.
and then you start yelling.
And then you get panicky. And that's very
And then I hit
punishable
all
in that game.
the buttons.
Jen is the embodiment of
Smash
a
buttons.
button masher.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hit a button.
She would be a menace to a 6-year-old in a fighting game.
Could you imagine her going
smashed
ham
on some Mortal Kombat,
on
man,
fucking
on the
Mortal
Sega?
Kombat?
Oh yeah,
Dude,
Mortal Kombat on the Sega. I'm around with that.
I was gonna say I imagine Jen on Mortal Kombat on the arcade, and with the 3 buttons and the joystick, just fucking like hammer
Fucking
fisting the
going
buttons.
ham.
But we're gonna move past gaming quite a little bit. Actually, I should probably check at our time.
Wait, one more thing before video games.
Mhm.
You're freezing, by the way.
Give it a second.
I think you're back.
I'm back. Yep, we're good.
Okay. So, old school versus new school gaming. Specifically,
Ooh, that's a good one.
how old school games were complete. This is the game, here's everything. And new school gaming, you get like 25% of it,
Yeah.
and then they release
Yeah.
more and more
So
as time goes on so they can make more money.
I have 2 topics that I actually didn't think of. Pokemon, first up. This is topic 1. Hot or not?
Absolute French.
Since we want to talk about new gen versus old gen. Jen?
Are we talking about Pokemon card games or Pokemon
The game.
video games?
The video game.
Pokemon Snap, best game.
Yo,
Arguably
Best game.
on par with Pokemon Arena.
Love
no.
Pokemon.
Pokemon Arena blew every other Pokemon.
So great.
Every other
Dude,
Pokemon game out of
so
the
great.
fucking wall. Even the
Charizard-
newer fighting one that they have
They have a
doesn't
new
even
fighting one?
touch. Doesn't even touch. Yeah.
They have a new fighting one?
Yeah, it's like Pokemon Stadium. Actually, I don't know
I
if
think
it's
it
the
is
second one or
Pokemon
not.
Stadium, actually. I think I remember it
But
now.
The original N64 Pokemon
Oh, yeah,
Stadium.
N64 Pokemon Stadium. Where you get 3 Pokemon on your team. Excuse me, God. Gengar, Charizard, and I don't remember my third. We banned Mewtwo because he just was too OP to have.
You had to.
Yeah. So no one was allowed to pick him.
So yeah, I would say hot for
Okay.
Pokemon games.
Side
Yes.
note, did you guys ever play the Digimon fighting game?
No. I have a Digimon board game
Yes.
still though.
Do you
I think
remember it?
I'm blurry as shit.
You're
I
blurry
don't
as
know.
shit. There it is.
There we go. There was it's something
It's for the PS1.
so long ago. No, I think it was a handheld one.
Oh, the one I'm talking about is PS1.
It could not. It could be something else. There was another.
Because the
Am
one
I
on the
thinking BattleBots? Does that sound familiar?
I think you're
to you?
thinking about BattleBots.
Is that a real thing?
I think so. The game
It was around the same era of like Pokemon and
yeah,
Digimon,
yeah,
but it was robots that would fight, and I think it was
That
a handheld
is
version.
BattleBots.
Is
Anyways,
that what it is?
I'm pretty sure.
Fucking core memory
The
unlocked. Great game.
Digimon fighting game was one where you got to pick your Digimon at the start, and it was like Smash, where you had multiple people in the arena, and it was tri-level or like all that stuff. But the Digimon would digivolve throughout the fight, and you could get your ultimate, which was your ultimate Digivolve.
Yeah.
Dude, fucking amazing game. I don't remember what it was, but it starts out as the tiny orange ball, and then she evolves into like a walking humanoid one, and then her Digivolve.
The angel?
Yes, the angel where she could shoot spikes out. Dude, OP.
Yes. The best. And the cat one? The best. The best Digimon.
Anyways, my second topic, since we want to talk about them giving full games versus a hamburger where they give you the buns and then they're like, oh, here's DLC. That is why I've been kind of going towards indie games, which you run into that with indie games because they're trying to money fish, because they're trying to fund bigger projects, which I get. But like, indie games are just people who want to make games and they try to make money off of it, so they just throw games out. You will find some of the best 4-hour long games on indie games that will outcompete AAA games. Even though the content is considerably less, they just give you the entire game and you don't have to, like, Destiny is a great example of this. Destiny is a very beloved game. I used to play the shit out of it. I fell off fucking 5 expansions ago in Destiny 2. In order to get back into it, it's $300.
Oh my god.
It's expensive to get all of the expansions to catch back up. And like you can't even compete.
I agree with the indie games. Though.
Yes.
It was
There's some really good
Digimon
ones.
Rumble Arena
There it is.
for the PlayStation 1.
Such a
And there's-
good game.
It was a great game.
There's so many out there now, indie games wise, that you can get either like cheap or free.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
To try like itch.io, like I constantly play ones on there just to try them out.
Mhm.
Humble Bundle, of course, I get a ton of indie ones on there.
The .io games, I have to say, I think were some of the greatest and funniest games to happen to like browser games. Like you got Snake.io.
Like Flash games?
Flash games. Snake.io.
Oh, I fucking
Tanks.io was my shit. I love that game.
Thanks.
Dots.io, which was the original one.
Mhm.
Dude, I loved those games.
Absolutely.
But yes, we're gonna move past the gaming into our what is that? Oh, the .io games. It's .io. What we talked about: open world, Skyrim, crafting, Minecraft, all that stuff. We talked about TTRPGs. So David and I are relatively new. Well, not anymore actually. We've been playing for about 2-3 years now.
Oh my god.
It's been that long. It's been that long. But my experience, excuse me, I'm burping. My experience with TTRPGs, tabletops, was I wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons because I had always known about it, had never gotten the opportunity to play it, and I physically went around our job at work, and I started asking people. I was like, "Hey, man, you like Dungeons and Dragons?" And they're like, "Yeah." It's like, "You want to play in a game?" And they're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Cool, you're in." I think I asked you exactly that.
Yeah.
And that
absolutely.
I just went around, and eventually I had found one dude who, for better words, was weird. He's not a bad dude, but he was awkward. He's very weird.
Very weird.
And he was like, "Yeah, I've got a campaign." And I was like, "Perfect." We played a total of 3 sessions of that campaign. And I got so fed up with trying to get everybody organized that I was just like, "Fuck it, I'm DMing." Had no clue what I'm doing. Walked in there with a one-shot about what are those things? A chimera, where kids were getting kidnapped for a cultist ritual, and they got turned into that chimera. And that is how I got into TTRPGs, and I roped this man into it.
Yep. It was great. Showed up to work one day and Frank stumbles in. "Hey, do you like Dungeons and Dragons?" "I don't know, I've never played it. Do you want to?" "Sure, okay." And that's how it started.
Yeah, I literally walked in and I was like, "Hey, man." Yeah, that what he just said, and I was like, "Cool." He's like, "I don't know what to do," and I was like, "You see this app? Download it."
Yeah.
It was D&D Beyond
Yeah.
because it was free, and I was like, "Create a character. They walk you through it. You'll learn it." And that's what we did. We sat in my truck and was like, "Oh, this is cool."
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yep.
And then my addiction to Critical Role happened, and I fucking binged the entirety of Campaign 2 in like 7 months.
Same.
And that's the story of how Frank got stuck as a DM for
I'm
the rest
still
of his
stuck.
life.
I'm still
I
stuck.
said I would DM.
I know.
Said I would DM.
I know.
So I had always known Dungeons and Dragons was a thing because you hear about it, people talk about it. Whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't actually know what it was though until like I played,
Huh.
and I didn't know if I actually wanted to play or not. I was just bored, and I was like, "Yeah, sure, I get to hang out with." When I played, and it was a blast.
Yeah. And you got blackout on my couch.
I also don't like being called out on my shit. So.
That was a good day though. That was a funny one.
Mhm.
But yeah, Jen, I'm curious to hear your. We've been dominating this conversation. I'm curious to hear your opinions.
So I have a pretty religious family, and so Dungeons and Dragons was like satanic panic, all of that. It was
Same.
it was the devil. And so I never even considered it. And then I found my nerddom when I got older.
As one
And
usually does.
yes, and I wish I would have found it sooner. So there was a kid, I say kid, there was a guy at work who was trying to get a group of us to play.
Mm-hmm.
And so we played at work for a little while, and then 2020 hit, and so we
Mhm.
started playing online, and
Oh,
then
the death of in person.
I, yes, and I got addicted,
Mm-hmm.
and that one campaign wasn't enough, and so I
It
joined.
never is.
It never is, no. So I joined another campaign, and that was where I met Rel, and so then Rel brought me to EAG, and
I
then
don't
fast
embrace his
forward,
guild.
Mm-hmm.
Our
yeah,
partners.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and then
there it is.
fast
Shameless plug.
forward, now I got looped in with these two clowns.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
so yeah,
the
that's me for
more I talk, the more I realize we grew up in the same fucking place. Because mine wasn't like a religious thing. It's just I didn't grow up in an environment that where like I could be a nerd. Like I was, and like I still enjoyed those things, but like it was very much like I was the weird kid. So I just had to enjoy my nerd shit on my
Us?
own. Well, anyways, um, yeah.
Yep.
So like yeah, that was kind of the same thing. Like I knew what it was. Like I knew what it was. Like I'd seen the books, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And now here I am at the age of 29, buying miniatures, and I want to get like once I get a house, I'm going to have a room where I just have like maps, like the battle maps made
You're
of
gonna
like
you're gonna have
scenarios.
a DM room.
Yeah,
I bet you are, buddy.
yeah. Well,
Get your dungeon master on.
oh yeah, it's wait. It's like you walk in. It's like over here on the right we have all of your battle needs, and over here on the left we have all of your other needs.
Mm.
Choose your poison.
It's the same items on both sides.
It's just you have
Oh
like.
my gosh.
Oh my god, you walk in and on the right side it's a flail, but on the right side or left side it's a flail, but it's made out of silicone.
Oh my gosh. I skipped a part though.
Go ahead.
So, uh, in my quest, before I went online to find more D&D, and this was before COVID kind of hit too,
Mm-hmm.
my local library was hosting D&D sessions.
Oh my god,
And so I
mine
was
would
like,
never. Mine would fucking never.
this is in this town that I live in now.
Oh,
Okay,
okay,
the
okay,
city. This is my
okay.
hometown. No. Not
Oh
my
my
hometown.
god, yeah.
This is the town I live in now by the city. So, we have culture up here. So, I was like, oh,
There's
I will
culture
go.
there. It's just a different kind.
There's just one culture where I'm from. Just one.
Jesus.
Good old country. So I went to the library expecting, or I guess hoping, that it would at least be some adults, but no,
It was not.
no, it was one adult who was DMing for a
Oh.
group of high school kids. But I played and I went for
You know,
several sessions because I was learning. Like I still
Yeah.
had no idea. And this was before I found Critical Role, which is where I learned almost everything I know about
I mean,
D&D.
same. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went to that for a couple of sessions. It was super awkward, but like the kids were very nice and they helped me learn. And then, like I said, I found Critical Role, 2020 hit, and then it all kind of tumbled from there. But yeah, did get desperate enough to play with some high school kids.
I tell you what, I miss playing in person. God, I miss it so
much
much.
more fun.
I miss it so much. I wish we all lived closer to each other so we could. God, I miss it so much because that was like my weekend getaway too. Because that was when I was living like fucking out there. Like I lived
in the
45
boonies.
minutes away from civilization.
Yep.
And so I would drive into town every day to go to the dude's house that we played at, and that was where I saw everybody, got to bullshit. Besides David, we went to the gym every day together.
Hey man.
Yeah, and that was
Body by Franco.
Oh, that I miss. That's the social aspect of it I miss.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so, and you don't realize how different it is
Until you play.
until you've done both.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to take away from online gaming because like it's still a blast.
I mean, some people that's all they have because they get so much social anxiety that's how they have to play.
Mm-hmm. But when you play with your friends face to face, oh man.
Well, so
it's a different level of crazy.
In my since I'm the DM, in my like experience, I can get a lot more emotions across in a scene or like what's happening face to face because though I may be okay with words, I can still portray like body language because especially when I'm doing voices, stuff that you guys don't get to see because I don't turn my camera on, is like I embody the character. Which is another funny story. I practice voices, so I'll be walking my dogs practicing a voice, and I'll be like walking down. Let me see if I can stand up and do it.
His neighbors.
I'll be like walking down the street, like, yeah, I take you wood.
I can vouch for this being realistic as well. I've seen him do
it.
Oh my gosh.
It's it's the greatest. You know, go ahead, Jen. Sorry, I had subtopics for this one.
I was just gonna say, the one thing about Dungeons and Dragons in person for me, and this is just my own weakness, and if I have my tablet or phone there so I can use D&D Beyond, it's fine, but I can't do math to save my life. And if you asked me right now what the math is on like a damage roll, and I'd have to like think about, okay, well I roll a d20 and then do I hit, but I gotta add my proficiency, and I think there's a modifier. I don't know. There's just too much.
I will say I got spoiled with D&D Beyond, but the OCD in my brain made me learn it because I was DMing, and that is the only reason I know it because like I know like specific clerics are fucking proficient in heavy armor, some aren't, some clerics are proficient in,
I know all
great
that.
yeah.
It's the math piece. I can't do the adding.
I know.
And then when you get into like, oh, you got to add your rage damage, or you got to add this, and I'm just like, holy shit,
I forget that too. I forget that too.
Too many maths.
Yeah.
So.
I'm a big fan of D&D Beyond.
Okay, actually, so
I don't have to calculate anything.
That leads into my second topic: physical dice or digital dice.
See, this
is what's hard.
Mm-hmm.
I started with D&D Beyond, so it's always been electrical. I got my first real set of dice at Comic-Con.
This is my fucking dice bag.
And they are the nicest dice I have ever seen in my life.
Dude,
and I've used them a few times just to roll, to fuck around.
Mm-hmm.
There is something so different about rolling with physical dice versus the electronic ones.
A good set of dice will make you feel bougie. Like, you'll walk in and you'll, like, sit down, you'll be playing, and you'll go to roll your dice, and you pick it up, and it's, like, a nice set of metal, like, good dice, and you'll roll it, and you're like...
I wish I had mine handy so I could show you guys. It's the copper ones I got, remember?
Yeah, I was there. I know you can't see it.
So intricate.
It's a very expensive one.
Yeah, they were, like, $200 at a Comic-Con in the Springs that we went to. And
I mean, if you look at them, though,
they're worth it. They're handcrafted.
No doubts, but... Jesus.
The ones I'm holding up, which you can't see clearly because they're just a black set of dice with red letters on them, but they were a gift. These are my favorite set of dice I've ever had. They came in like a box. I fucking love these dice.
I've seen them in person.
Yeah.
They are nice.
Other TTRPG stuff.
I was about to ask, what are other
Pathfinder,
TTRPGs?
So you have Pathfinder,
Call of
Cthulhu.
I can't say that word.
Call of Cthulhu, Pathfinder,
There's so many.
Vampire the Masquerade. There's some sciencey stuff one. There's a Star Wars one. Yeah, there's a Star Wars one.
Does do card games count as tabletop games?
No, because it's not role playing. The whole thing. Well, actually, yes, it is a tabletop game, but I'm specifically talking about TTRPGs.
Tabletop RPG.
Yeah.
So I see your point, but you're telling me. So have you ever played Yu-Gi-Oh?
Oh, absolutely. I know what video you're about to talk about.
I don't know how it works for like Magic the Gathering, but
it's roughly the same. It's roughly the same.
I played Yu-Gi-Oh like religiously growing up.
Same. I had a deck that was like this fucking big.
Yeah. So when you play a game like that, you're telling me you've never pretended to be a
I
character
know exactly
from
what
Yu-Gi-Oh?
I know
You know
exactly
what I
what
mean?
video you're talking about. The dudes that are playing it, and he's like, "Duh," and he's and like dude next to him,
That's what
yeah,
I'm saying.
and
Like
he's
you
like,
really, you know what I mean? You get
yeah,
into it.
yeah,
So technically, or
in
is
a
that a whole
loose,
separate issue
in
because it is a card game and that's
no,
like a
even though I hate card games, no, which I'll talk about. I actually meant to talk about that in the gaming section, but whatever. It's in like a loose term, I guess. You
okay.
know, in the TTRPG aspect, because David and I have both dealt with this, and I'm sure Jen has as well. Power gamers or role players? Because they're
Fucking
two
Role
separate people.
players.
There's two
I am
separate
a
people.
diehard.
Players.
I am a diehard. I don't get me wrong. I love combat, and I'm not going to shit on you for wanting to be the strongest.
If that's what you
Because
enjoy, that's what you enjoy.
it is a setting where you're an adventurer, and the whole goal of an adventurer is to go on adventures, be strong enough, to win the battles that you use, right?
Yeah.
But I think what makes D&D is getting into character.
Getting
Like
to
if
flirt
you,
with your friends.
well, I don't need D&D to flirt with you, buddy.
I
But
guess.
like
If you haven't watched one of their campaigns, you totally should, because it is just a love fest between Dave and Frank the whole time. It really is.
no,
Not in the new one.
It's between me and Bear. Thank you.
Yeah, the new one is Bear. It's like an established relationship at this point.
It's canon.
Which,
But
sneak peek, I hate to break it to both of you. You guys are in for a rough fucking time.
I got your back, David.
thanks. As long as Jen's there, I know I'm not gonna die.
Not talking about
God.
death.
Don't do this. Don't give me emotional trauma. I grew up with that. All right, I don't need more of it. But anyways, back to the point.
Yeah.
If you can't, like, you can build your character however you want. If you want to min max and be the strongest, as long as you're still getting into character, I do not mind having you be as
Yeah.
OP as you can make yourself.
If you can min max your character and still play your character, fucking great. But if you're min maxing and we're doing like a role play session where you're shopping, doing something, talking to a quest, excuse me,
Talking to a quest.
talking about whatever, you got what I'm saying. Or after a battle and everyone's just like winding down and just like talking amongst the characters, and you're sitting back there like,
Yeah.
all right, come on, dude. Like,
And also, I know acting isn't for everyone.
oh, it's not, and I know where you're going with this.
I'm not saying you have to be fucking
I'm
Johnny
Batman.
Depp, right?
I'm Batman.
But if you have one personality trait for every fucking character you play, and you only show one emotion
That's a
for
niche.
every
That's
interaction,
a niche thing. Yep.
stop.
Get some help.
Fucking Christ, dude.
Oh my
Stop.
god. I guess I'll tell the story on that one.
Oh my god.
We were playing. It was the campaign that we had started originally, and I have talked about this before, and I still want to do this, but this is gonna be like a home game because it's all copyrighted material. But there's a setting on some books that I really want to make into a TTRPG for a world, and I did in a loose sense. And we had a guy who played a broody character, and that was his entire personality through any scenario. They went and met some ruling head leader for the family because there was an aristocratic society.
There you go.
Oof. And they went and met some ruling family, and like he was just in the corner, just like, meh. I'm like, all right, dude, cool.
Batman? Is that what you think?
Yeah, dickhead over there got his hand cut off, and that guy's character's just like, oh, sad.
Dude, I flipped on this kid.
Dude, because it was such there was so much going into this too. Because I told them, especially with his character, because his character was like a kind of a weird thing where like they didn't know what he was, but he knew what he was, and he was kind of trying to be a spy essentially. And I asked him, I was like, where is your ring? Because they had signet rings to show like what or who they were from or like who they were associated with. I was like, where's your ring? And he said it. And he's like, it's on my hand. I was like,
It's right here.
Okay, cool.
Fuck.
Like fully knowing well what they were walking into because this is like clashing things. And they walk in, and they have a conversation, and the ruling guy notices the ring, and he steps up, punches him in the chest, like kicks him straight up, kicks him onto the ground, puts it down, and he's like, "What is that?" And he says it, cuts his hand off. He's like, "Nope," cuts his hand off. And this is in a world with no magic, so this man just has no hand, and he's just standing there like, "I'm Batman."
Yeah.
All right, buddy, you fucking got it.
Fucking anything, dude.
Oh.
Give me something to work with here, bro.
God, it was so.
I mean-
And then it was just a bad group because we had that guy, we had the power gamer who only did power gaming.
We
there
did
was
have.
there was no role play,
Yeah.
and then we had the other guy who was fucking teenage angst in a fucking
Yeah.
nutshell.
Yeah.
He was the embodiment of teenage angst.
Oh, and also the problem with the power gamer was too, I was doing rolled stats, not point buy or anything like that, or standard array. And I watched, because I physically sat there and watched everybody roll their characters. He rolled 2 18s and a 16 for 3 of his stats. And like, he was just OP. And I was like, well, that's great. Couldn't deny him because he rolled it and I saw it, but like, oof.
I rolled my stats for the campaign I'm in on Tuesdays, and they were stupid, ridiculous. Like I rolled, like I don't even. It was like 95 total or something stupid.
Oh my God.
And I was like, yeah, it was stupid. Like I got super lucky, and I was like, this isn't even gonna be fun. Like it's not gonna
for
be
you.
fun.
Not for you.
Yeah.
There's
You
no
know? And I
challenge
was like,
behind it.
no, I don't want to do that. Like
Yeah.
I'll just roll again. I don't want to be super powerful. Like I'm there for the role play. You know, so
I like having, and this is the power gamer in me, the DM in me, because I know how to build broken characters now. I want one good stat, like 1 or 2 good stats. That's really all I want.
Is broken.
Yes, very much so inside. If you haven't been able to tell by this podcast yet, I just want one good stat. I'll take negatives and all the rest of that shit, because I'll fucking play that shit off. But like, give me my 2 things that I want to do for a character. Good. The rest of it, here you go.
That's why I don't mind. What is it called? Standard array. I don't mind doing that.
That's why I use standard array now at this point with all my games. Is just like, avoid the power gamers, because I'm gonna let you use rule of cool either way. So if you're power gaming and that's what you enjoy, I'm gonna let you do it anyways. And that prevents like just some dude sitting in a corner rolling his fucking d20 and being like, oh, that's a 10, 35.
Yeah, he's just in the corner.
That's a 7, 72. Yeah.
Speaking of high rolls, though, Frank pointed some stuff out because my go-to class is Paladin.
Oh yeah.
We're not gonna get into that. But,
ooh, that's a good question, Jen. After he's done talking, go ahead.
I forget what game it was, but I was still brand new. Like this was within a year, like me learning D&D at all.
Which one was this one?
And I had rolled like some crazy shit, like 75 points of damage because Paladins get Divine Smite. And
Divine Smite on top of crits and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was what opened my eyes to like how dangerous fucking power gamers could be, because they could just get that fucking infinitely more.
Yep.
And
than
you'll just
regular
break
people.
the game, because it doesn't even matter if you're critting at that point, because I don't think that was a crit. I think that was just 2 good rolls with Divine Smite and good damage rolls. Jen, what's your favorite class to play in a TTRPG?
It has to be a magic caster, probably a ranged character.
Wow,
I
you
like
branch out quite a bit.
I am a
Very
type.
diverse.
Yeah, very
would say.
diverse person.
I told you I'm a big chicken, so getting up close and personal, it just makes me really uncomfortable. But in tomorrow's game, I'm a fighter.
I thought you were a bard, or are you a bard fighter?
I started as a fighter and then multi-class to bard because my fighter wants to be a bard.
Okay.
So I'm a pretty broken fighter to be honest.
To begin with.
Yeah, but you don't play
like,
him broken.
You know,
yeah.
But like, I mean, he's probably one of my favorite characters to play mechanically, just because of how he's built.
He is very versatile.
OP.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not OP. He's just kind of like, oh, cool. He has this feature, like I can throw out my shield and protect my allies. That's awesome.
Yeah,
like,
you saved David's life 3 times.
Yeah, exactly. So
That
that's
was a
totally
good-
out
that
of
was a
my
good
norm,
game.
though. Normally, I want to
Thank
throw
you.
magic and
Okay.
be a cool magic caster. I like rogues a lot, honestly, with magic. So like Arcane Trickster is probably my go-to.
I am excited for this heist campaign that we're gonna do after the Wild Beyond the Witchlight. I am probably gonna do a mastermind rogue, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I really
Okay.
think that's what I'm going to do. But
Am I
Rogue is...
DMing this one? Is that what I said?
You did
Because if
say.
not, I'll say it now.
You
Okay,
did
that's
say.
fine.
Okay.
I was like, okay, yes, I will DM now. Yeah.
It's like, I'm not gonna do it.
I have to say, I think I don't know. It's a tie between Barbarian and Warlock. It's a tie. It's a rough tie, but it's a tie.
The Warlock limited spell slots thing gets me. Like I need
play
more magic
Hexblade.
than that.
I play Hexblade Warlock. There's my only fun. Actually, I lied. The one character that I really, really, really want to play, but it's just not going to fit into the heist game, is the Cowboy Warlock. And he's a Pact of the Chain.
Oh my god, yep.
Pact of the Chain caster Warlock. And his main thing is going to be Eldritch Blast, obviously.
Pact of the Chain? What would his familiar be?
For flavor, a spider. Because he's a drow.
I thought it was gonna be like a what was that Rango Johnny Depp lizard? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh
He
my
is a
god.
drow. He's a drow. That's where the cowboy get-up comes from. Because he has to block himself with the sun. And the spider represents
that's
Lulth,
nice.
where he got his powers from.
Oh, nice.
Because he was a farmer originally. There's a whole backstory behind him. He was a farmer. His
Oh,
dad
yeah.
said, "You're a shit farmer, man. Like, I love you to death. You suck at farming. Go do... You're not happy. Go do what you want to do." So he's like, okay, like, let me go find myself. So he leaves, fancies himself a fighter, gets in a bunch of fights in bars, just traveling, working for money, you know. And eventually he finds himself beaten within an inch of his life in an alleyway. And this spider kind of crawls up on his chest, and he makes that connection, gets his Eldritch powers, and he becomes a gunslinger for hire, even though his gun isn't real. It's just a wooden gun.
Frank's been fleshing this
That's
character
right.
out for
I remember
fucking
that.
It's
Yeah.
just a wooden gun. So he's got
It's-
a wooden gun that he casts his Eldritch Blast through, and he wears it like a Western pistol. And then my favorite thing to do with him is like just a flavor trick, but he'll pull out like a coin, you know, that see trick, and he'll flip the coin up, and he'll yell bang, because his gun doesn't shoot, and he's not gonna shoot off an Eldritch Blast into the roof. And he'll like bang, and when the coin lands in his hand, he'll summon his pact, and the spider will be in his hand.
Oh, that's cool.
I've fleshed out this character so much.
One thing I'll say though about classes is that I am really loving multi-classing because you can pull together some really neat, diverse
Amazing shit.
characters.
Oh, some
Yeah, like,
amazingly diverse characters behind that.
I have a really fun, like my Tuesday game, I'm a bard lock, so I was a bard to start who then made a deal and now is a warlock. Love that
I
character.
think you did tell
Love
me that,
that
actually.
character.
Yeah, I think you did
Love
tell me
it.
that.
And then this one in tomorrow's campaign is a bard fighter combo.
Yes.
So
I did the most interesting one I did was Goliath. I'm pretty sure they're Goliaths, right?
Yeah.
The big
that's
people.
what mine.
The
Yeah.
Goliath.
Yep.
A Goliath paladin. And he takes after his parents because they were also paladins and they were adventurers.
Thank you
And
for
they're like,
reminding
"Oh,
me
you gotta
about
fucking This is you've got to go. You know, you gotta. This is the way. You know what I mean? You gotta go
Oath
be a
of the
paladin. Go
ancestors.
fight. Yeah. And then he's like, well, I'm out here on my own doing my own thing. I want to be a bard. So he goes to school and becomes a bard. So he transitions into like he's this big beefy fucking divine smite wielding motherfucker,
Has
but he
a
also
kid.
sings
That's exactly
fucking
how Elton is.
like you know what I mean? Like
I will say, I think that's probably one of the favorite player characters that crossed over into the campaign that we're playing now. Because I did a whole thing with him. Because that is where the statement, "Don't ignore the whispers," came from.
Yep.
Because
Fuck that statement, by the way.
That was the best delivery I've ever had on a statement. We were at
It was
work.
so good.
I was leaving. He was going the opposite direction because we parked on opposite ends of the building. We were just bullshitting about the game because we were about to play that night. And as I was like opening the door to the outside, I turned around and I was like, "Oh yeah, don't ignore the whispers," and just left.
It hits you. It was one of those. Oh yeah, you too. And then you're like, wait, what did he say? And dude, I mean, like a split second had passed.
Yeah.
And the way the doors are set up, there's a doorway here, and then 90 degrees, there's another doorway that
yeah.
actually leads outside.
Yeah.
But you can see because it's all glass. He was in the doorway.
I wasn't
Half
there.
second goes by. I turn around.
I'm
He's
gone.
Gone.
I was gone.
I've never ran so fast in my life to go on fucker down.
What was I going to say? But we have been talking about TTRPGs for a very long time because that is our favorite topic, and we love that. We're gonna move on. Talked about that too. Movies. We're gonna move into movies because I have a very specific niche that I love for movies, and I cannot find them for the life of me. Because I've watched most of the ones that I have access to in this genre, and that is psychological horror.
Okay.
I love a psychological thriller, psychological horror, because it makes me think. I can watch a movie, and you can watch it and be like, oh, and you try to you're like trying to connect the dots, trying to figure out where the story's going, and then you rewatch
that movie,
it.
Hush.
Yes, and then you rewatch it, and you start noticing more things because you know what's happening already. So you start noticing more things. I love a movie that's gonna make me sit and think about it for a long time.
Oh, yeah, I know we do this all the time, but Seven, What's in the Box? Such a good one too.
God,
What's in the box? Yeah.
Such a good one.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, I would have to say mine is superhero movies. Always been a huge fan. Always been a huge fan since I was young. But the Marvel Cinematic Universe has fucking sealed the deal for me.
I will say
they have gone above and beyond as far as old school superhero movies go.
Yes. I am getting burnt out on that topic. I will watch my favorites for specific favorite superheroes on their movies. Mm-hmm. But I think they've been done so much. Which I'm saying it's great. I love that they're doing this. I love that it's now out there and I would quote mainstream at this point, because I think it should have been, because it was such a large topic that everyone looked down upon when it was originally being created. That now it's up there, and I'm glad it's getting the deserve it needs. But it's oversaturated for me at this point.
I don't think it is.
For me specifically.
I view it as, because I know some other people feel the same. I view it as, so imagine you have read a book.
Yeah.
Or vice versa, seen a movie, and then you find out the opposite exists. And you're like, dude, I gotta fucking check it out. That's literally almost regurgitating the information. But with this, it's the comics versus the movie universe.
Movies, yep.
So it kind of gives it a fresh spin on, because it's like a nostalgic thing.
Yeah.
Also, because back in the day, I used to read comic books. You know what I mean? I was deep in it. Every
around at the speed of sound.
Yeah. Every penny I got for allowance or whatever, it went straight to comics. That was my thing. And now being able to fucking watch it on the big screen, that shit is fucking, and it's so well done too.
Also,
I don't think I've seen
the only case of bullying that's ever existed for good.
That's worked. Yeah.
That's worked.
Yeah. Literally. Oh my god, the design was fucking terrible.
Garbage.
I don't know who thought that was okay in the first place, but anyways, we don't condone bullying, by the way.
No, not at all.
But yeah, just seeing the characters I grew up idolizing on the big screen is fucking fascinating. Yeah. And they're pretty well done. I don't think I've watched a superhero movie that I was eh.
I mean, obviously some of the beginning ones.
Now.
Yeah.
Green Lantern.
Don't you fucking talk about that classic.
I love that movie.
So bad.
I love that movie.
So bad.
CGI?
So bad.
CGI writing,
come on.
Terrible. I'll give it that. I understand.
I love Green Lantern as a character. That movie was so difficult to get through.
I liked it. I didn't, but I'm not watching it as a Green Lantern fan.
Yeah, same.
I'm watching it as a superhero movie where I like the character, I like the actors, I can understand the writing is shit, I can understand the CGI is shit, but I can still enjoy the movie for what it is. It's like Spider-Man 3 with the fucking Venom and Eddie Brock, which was the whiny bitch baby.
Hey, you fucking watch your heathen mouth. Spider-Man 3 is my baby.
I think
Tobey Maguire, if you're watching this, I love
Tobey Maguire. I love Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. I love all the Spider-Mans, actually. There's not, Andrew Garfield's my favorite, but I actually take that back. Tobey Maguire's my favorite. I gotta go with the OG.
they all fit different categories.
Their roles,
for me.
yes. Because
Like-
they were different time frames in the Spider-Man universe. Tobey Maguire, adult Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield, college Spider-Man, which kind of paralleled with the Tobey Maguire one, but
I
No.
will say that Spider-Man scene of the new one where Tobey Maguire comes in.
Oh my god, dude. That movie,
I cried.
I did too.
I
I'm
cried.
not a crier in movies. I teared
Oh,
up
good.
when that scene happened, and
I
Tobey
cried.
Maguire just walked in
Good.
with it, and he's just like, "Hey guys."
So, Tobey Maguire best played Peter Parker. It was iffy about Spider-Man. He was great while it was there, and that was the only. But now that we've seen others, right?
Yeah,
So Tobey Maguire,
I
best
see what
Peter
you're
Parker.
doing. I see what you're doing.
Andrew Garfield, best Spider-Man, hands down. He nailed him to a fucking T when
I
it came to like
think
how close he was to the comic.
yes, and I think the flaws with
Amazing.
the Andrew Garfield movies, because I think they're the most like disliked in the shows, was the
Because
writing.
he was Peter Parker. Like, dude, he's not a fucking skateboarding cool
Yeah,
kid, bad
yeah.
boy rebel. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
well,
he's a fucking nerd.
and I think it's the writing is what
Yeah.
got those
Yeah.
movies. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And then Tom Holland is the best of both worlds.
best all around.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
100% agreed.
He'll do good.
Good.
I I'm kind of in the same boat with Frank though, because superheroes are not my thing. If superheroes were my thing, I would be eating up all of that, just like you are. But I'm like that with fantasy. Anything fantasy, give it.
I
I'll
have
watch
to
it.
say,
Fantasy, magic, I'll watch it. It could be terrible. I still want to watch it.
there's becoming a resurgence, I want to call it in a loose term, of fantasy movies that were made old, that were garbage, that are getting remade in the same light that these new shows are getting, like The Witcher, which that's a whole separate sect that I'm gonna get angry about in a second. But like, because the Aragon movie, I don't know if you've read any of the Aragon
Oh
books.
my fucking! I love the books.
Exactly. Did you watch the
The
movie?
movie, I fucking hated it.
I
Yeah.
liked the movie as a movie, not an Aragon movie. They're remaking it and making a show.
I don't even think as a standalone I would have liked it. Even
I-
if it had nothing to
I
do with
enjoyed it.
Aragon,
Yeah. I enjoyed it. For
I don't know. Maybe I'm
aspects.
too biased because I did read the books. and the
I
whole
did
time
too.
was
I
trying
did
to
too. I
compare
love dragons. That's my thing. I like them. So if it has a dragon in it and the dragon CGI looks half decent, yeah, I'm enamored.
I mean, yeah, come on.
And that's
Um,
how I am with magic. If there's magic in it, I'm good.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
but I
if-
think
if-
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, good.
Oh, I think fantasy's doing the same thing that comic book movies are doing now. Is they're like, okay, well, there's unfortunately the bad aspect of it is like there's a market here. We can make money on this, so they're doing it. It's good for us because
Absolutely.
we get to enjoy the content. It's good for them because they get our money. So
Absolutely.
hopefully they do it right and they don't just cheap out and be like, well, they're gonna pay for it either way because
Yeah.
we are.
I mean,
But The Witcher is that aspect where they're just like, well, if we just make it, they're gonna watch it. They fired Henry Cavill because he got mad because they were deviating from the source material, which
mhm.
if
Nobody wants to watch.
fucking
what
producers
his name is. What's the other guy's name? Miley Cyrus's ex.
it is a
He's a Hemsworth.
Hemsworth,
Liam.
Liam Hemsworth. Yeah,
No,
it's Liam.
He's not a Witcher.
No,
He's not a Witcher.
I'm not happy
Henry
about the
Cavill is
cast
a
change.
Surf Whisperer.
He's not the Witcher.
No, I'm not happy about the cast change. I'm not happy about the changes they're making because they're deviating from the source material, which is the whole reason they fired Henry Cavill. And if producers would just understand that I shouldn't say 90. It's to be honest with you, this is the bad part. It's like 20% of the fans that watch it.
Yeah.
That's the problem that we're running into. Is it's such a good show and it's such a good written that 90% of the people that are watching it don't know the source material and they don't care. They're gonna watch it anyways. Good for them. Beside the point.
I'm not watching it.
I was gonna say if superhero movies were off the table, I
Uh-huh.
did go through, which I think I would still watch now if new shit came out. You remember the Paranormal Activity series?
Mhm.
I fucking love movies like that.
I've never seen a single Paranormal Activity,
Like
but
the Blair Witch
Seriously?
Project too.
I
Oh my
loved
God,
both
dude.
Blair Witch projects, the old one and the new one. This is gonna sound very morbid, but in the Blair Witch, this is my favorite scene in the entire movie. When they first wake up after being trapped and it's endless night, and they wake up at night and all the effigies are around them. And the one dude's like, it's just fake. Someone's pulling a prank on us. And he pulls one down and snaps it in half. And the lady standing next to him raises off the ground and just folds and falls down.
Wait, is it the one in the forest?
It's the one in
Or
the forest.
not the forest. With it's the group of 4 dudes
It's nope.
that find that little cabin.
They find that little cabin. Oh no, that's a completely different one, which is my number one favorite movie. I'll talk about
that one. Had a scene like that too. So good.
This is the remake of Blair Witch, where they first wake up in the endless night. They're trapped in the forest in that witch's realm, and the witch surrounds them in the grove, and they're in their camp with the effigies before they find the cabin. And one of them that's like freaking out grabs the effigy, snaps it in half. He's like, "It's fake," and the chick standing next to him raises off the ground and just folds backwards and falls down. And it's just such a harsh scene that I laughed. Yeah. I laughed when I saw that, and I still laugh thinking about it. Just because
I think I laugh when I see morbid shit on TV.
Just how sharp it is. Like, it's done. And you're like, oh, God.
You're like, wow.
But the movie that's it. You're talking about was The Ritual. And that is, if not my top 5 favorite movies.
Was it The Ritual?
It's The Ritual. It always throws me off with the name. But it's 4 dudes hiking for their friend's funeral. And they get trapped in some Nordic ritual shit because the god.
The one you told me to watch.
Yes. Yeah. Have you watched it?
Yeah.
Have you watched it?
I have not.
Okay, well then I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna stop talking and spoil it. We'll do a watch party. I'll watch it with you.
So good.
I'm a big chicken. God.
Okay, so overall, do you guys have a favorite actor or actress?
Actress or actor? Oh, that's a hard one.
Either.
That's really hard.
You could do 1 and 1, actor and actress.
I really, really, really like Ryan Reynolds. Honestly, like I really like watch. And honestly, I like The Rock.
I mean, he's America's sweetheart. So.
Okay, Henry Cavill's not Henry Cavill.
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds.
We know what you've got on the brain though.
Mixing up my hot dudes. Yes.
I'll take either.
Ryan Reynolds is America's sweetheart. The Rock, however, is this. I'm gonna call out. He's a fucking sellout. He has done so many movies that are the same fucking movie, back to back to back to back to back.
A lot of people do. Though.
I wouldn't say he's a sellout. I would say he's typecast or character.
Typecast. Typecast is the word.
Yeah.
Typecast is the thing you're thinking about. Yeah, absolutely.
He's really good at that role.
He's great at that role, but there was a time span of like 5 years where there was like 7 movies that came out, and they were all the fucking same.
Walking Tall. Fucking.
The Longest Yard is not the movie I was thinking about.
Not The Longest Yard.
What's
the Longest Road or some shit? There was.
Huh?
Is it The Rundown?
Yeah, with
Rundown.
Stifler.
Yep, with Stifler.
Yeah.
Was in it. Stifler actually talks about being typecast. That role has ruined his entire acting career. Because no one ever wants to. Because he even said it. No one ever wants to cast him in any other role but that role.
I mean, he was in that. He was in The Rundown. He was goofy like that. In Dude, Where's My Car? He was goofy like that. Like that's who he plays.
Yeah, and he says he can never branch out from that because of that, even though he wants to.
Anyway, the combination of The Rock and Kevin Hart.
That's a great combination. That's a great combination. I remember what I was going to say. J-Law, Jennifer Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
The first like 2 Hunger Games movies, hands down the best. I love them. They started going downhill a little bit towards the end of the series. They started like fucking really going downhill towards the end of the series. But her in Passenger was a fucking performance. It's where her and Chris Pratt are passengers on a spaceship. They're sending people in cryosleep to a different planet to kind of like restart the world because Earth is. Chris Pratt's cryopod fucks up. He wakes up, is alone. This is basically the entire plot of the fucking movie. He screws up Jennifer Lawrence's pod because he ends up reading all the dossiers for people and all their shit and interests and all that stuff. Falls in love with her, wakes her up, but pretends it's a malfunction. and then shit happens. So they're basically alone for like years, like 2 years before another person wakes up and all that fun stuff happens.
Okay.
But her performance in that was great.
So you would pick Jalen.
Females wise, yes, absolutely.
I'd go with Sandra Bullock. I think she's great. I've always liked her.
Yeah.
She hasn't done a
she is
lot of
good.
movies lately, but
No, she hasn't done.
back in my day, she was all over everything. So.
For female, mine would have to be Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway, really?
Absolutely love her as an actress.
Who would? I'm sorry not to cut you off. It's just a thought. Actually, you know what? Before I break your train of thought, say what you were gonna say.
Too late.
Oh, and then for actor, Jim Carrey. That's
Jim Carrey's such a good one.
Yeah.
Even old Jim Carrey. I love old Jim Carrey.
Old Jim Carrey.
And new. Who was the main female in True Lies with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Jamie Lewis.
Lewis. Is Jamie Lee Fox?
Jamie Curtis.
Jamie Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Fox.
I don't know where I was going with that. Jamie Lee Curtis. I gotta say, I watched that movie way too young because she does a strip scene. True Lies. She does a strip scene. Oh my god, that's such a good scene. It's fucking. Anyways, I just thought of that. I'm gonna say that was the last. Oh, let's say one more thing before we move on from movies. Have you guys both seen Hereditary and?
Oh yeah.
The other one, which I can't think of right now currently, that was made by the same people but set different. Still culty.
Sinister?
Nope.
No.
Midsommar. Midsommar.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, you need to watch it. Oh, it's
arguably
arguably better than Hereditary.
I loved Hereditary.
Hereditary deals with more supernatural cult stuff. Midsommar deals with like actual people cult stuff that exists in real life. Anyways,
like
we will
signing
move.
A contract to get your wish granted.
That was one thing we didn't talk about in the conspiracy episodes, and I forgot about it.
What?
Side tangent. People went to go see the Rothschild town in somewhere in the United States.
Well, we'll get to it in part 2.
There we go.
We'll get to it in part 2. We will do another conspiracy theory.
Moving into books.
Oh,
books. David, the difference between high fantasy and low fantasy.
Yes.
High fantasy is when you're just in the fantasy world and things exist, like dragons, magic, in that world. It's a whole separate universe. Low fantasy is when that stuff comes into the real world.
Oh.
I had to physically look up that definition.
I didn't even know. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was just all fantasy.
Lord of the Rings versus Twilight.
That's it.
Or Harry Potter.
That's it. Did you guys ever read not the Vampire Diaries, Vampire Academy?
The Vampire's Assistant?
Nope, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good book series. They did. It was a god-awful representation of the books. Did you read the Demon series of that by that guy too?
Is it Demon series?
Oh, the Demon series is so much better than the Vampire series. So there's a vampire.
Fuck do you beat that?
There's dude, trust me, I know. But I read the Vampire Assistant first. Read all of them, fucking just immediately.
It's so good from beginning to end. No,
the Demon series, which is roughly the same, but it deals with demons and magic and stuff like that. Dude, it's so much better. It's so much better.
I'm gonna give another shameless plug. Peter V. Brett. He wrote a series called The Warded Man.
The webtoons?
Oh no!
Oh,
it's a book. It's an actual book. Oh. It's The Warded Man. It's set in like post-apocalyptic Earth, and like the premise is demons and monsters and shit like that. They exist, but they went to the core of the Earth. And after so there's like wards, like you know how runes and stuff work.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, but they have these symbols that they use to like fight against them and protect them or whatever. But something happened and the demons start coming back, and dude, it is the greatest book series. I love it more than I love Harry Potter. I love it more than Lord of the Rings.
Ooh,
I love it
that's
more
a-
than Animorphs, and Animorphs, I grew up on that shit.
I
Yeah.
Oh my
tried.
God,
I
dude.
tried getting into those. Maybe I didn't read them enough, but I couldn't get into Animorphs.
Oh,
Warded
so
Man
good.
movie in the works. Did you know that?
Oh.
Just saw that when I was googling your books. Yeah.
Oh my God.
You know what are other good books to get into if you're interested in the series? The Metro series. Metro 77, I think.
Metro Boomin?
You're done.
2033, 2034,
Metro 23.
2035.
Yeah, those.
Okay.
They're games. They were games. I think they're books before games, maybe, or games then books, and they expanded them on the universe.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking
that
about.
Metro. Yeah.
Such a good. So I mean, there's like 17,000. Excuse me, different writers for the books, because it's like Star Wars and Halo. People just write and then submit, and if they get accepted, they get accepted. If they don't, then it's your own book, but it's not canon. You know.
Interesting.
Halo, also another good book. Contact Harvest, and there was
Well,
another
they're getting
one
a television adaptation too.
of what? Well, the Warden series.
The Warded Man. Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh man, that's gonna be.
Oh, I can't think of the goddamn
I'm
name.
pumped.
Anyways, there's 2 books in the Halo series that are like top tier book favorites.
How do you not like Animorphs? I don't.
I
What
don't know.
did
I
you
just
not-
didn't read them
I
enough,
wasn't
I
a
guess.
huge Animorphs fan either.
I just didn't read them enough, I
wasn't.
guess.
I work with a bunch of fucking heathens.
You
That's
do.
what's wrong.
You do. Shameless here. I read all of the Twilight series.
They're good.
They're good. They're
The
good books.
the books are really good.
I'm contemplating picking up the new ones she's writing, because she's writing them from Edward's perspective.
Oh.
I'm contemplating getting them. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I didn't even know she was writing anything.
Yeah, I think she's already put the first one out. The first one's already out. I think she's almost put the second one out yet. But
I'm ashamed. I haven't kept up with reading as much as
I try to get back into it and end up getting caught in content creation, editing, playing video games, hanging out, homework.
Yeah.
I always lose time of it. Like I started rewatching or rereading the Harry Potter series, and I wanted to read the books, watch the movie, read the books, watch the movie. I've watched all the movies like 3 times now, and I still haven't finished the 3rd book.
It's a thought that counts.
Perfect.
What was I going to say? So I'm not saying I'm out there specifically looking for smut books. But if I'm reading a book with a good story and it's got some smut in it, that just tops it off.
I'm the exact opposite.
There's a fine line. There's a fine line
And
between
this might explain my personality a little bit better, but in my mind, if it's not happening in the book, I can take it where I want it to go. I can have that desire of, oh, they should be doing this for whatever the situation is. But if they actually write it in the book and it comes across as I don't want it to be that way, because when you read, your brain is playing the movie out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you create the world, you create the people.
Some people can't do
The
that.
words are just the setting. Yeah.
Some people can't do that.
Which sucks, bro. If you can't do that, I'm sorry. You're missing out on it.
Yeah.
But when they hint at shit,
It's the subtlety of it.
and then you can fucking take it
Infer.
where you want it in your head.
Yeah.
It's fucking golden.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Yeah. So there's a book I read, and I wish I remembered the name of it because I really want to read it again. It was such a good book. But it was one of those kind of like a J.R.R. Tolkien book where it was very descriptive about the environment, about what was going on in the world, and stuff like that. And it was split between different perspectives of characters. And one of the perspectives was this guy growing up on an island, and he was basically like a slave as a child. What?
Sounds really familiar.
You've probably read it.
Is at any point was there like a thing that took over his brain?
No.
Okay. I'm thinking of something
Anyways,
else.
but he gets the whole point of this is like this dude grows up getting beat, learning how to fight, stuff like that, and just getting like tough. And then it cuts over to this chick who has the ability to talk to birds and like call birds with her mind. Not talk to them essentially.
A Disney princess.
Yeah, kind of. Actually, now that I'm reading at it, but it was more high fantasy than Disney. But that one did like that's the only reason I use this example of the book because the premise of the book has nothing to do with it. But like, they did it to where there was like maybe a paragraph. It was like this much text in a book that was this big, of like a quote unquote smut scene, and they were kind of descriptive. I think he got a blowjob. Like I think that was essentially the end of it. But it was like they just kind of sprinkled it in there, and it's like a little tender moment, and then they move on with the story, and it's like okay, I like that. Like
your parents are coming, you're like,
yeah,
oh,
dude,
they're working they're tilling the fields. They're in the farm.
No,
Because that one was in our library, in our school library. It was where I found that book. I know.
All right.
So I'm like reading this book, like, God, this is a fucking great book. And I get to that page, and I'm in band class. And I'm a drummer, so I'm in the back, and I'm just like reading this shit. And I'm like, I'm just like sitting there, like, with this book in like middle school, just like, oh my God. Hey, buddy, look, read this.
See, the
Anyways.
thing for me with smut and books like that is it's always like awkward. It's like, oh, she touched his member.
They
And
have
it's
to
like,
be good at writing it. And that's,
you know, like
They have
oh
to
my
be
God.
frank. There it is. you can't be like passive about it.
yeah, no.
She took me under her hand tenderly. Like, no, I'm not fucking trying to read Shakespeare.
If
You know what I mean?
If you're doing like an entire book that is like a 50 Shades of Grey, which I've never read, but I kind of want to read.
I'm scared to read it.
Same,
Because I think
but
I'm gonna like it.
I really want to read it. But yeah, if you're doing like that type, fucking kudos to you. Do whatever descriptive language you want. But if it's like a book and you're adding in a smut scene, this is from a reader's perspective, you don't have to go into detail. Do like a tenderness thing with it or not, depending on how the setting is, and you know, like don't give a lot of detail about what's going on. Just give like dramatic from the scene and like where they're kind of at mentally, and then move the fuck on.
Yep. Absolutely.
Oh, another Halo book. Did this exact example as well. It was Contact Harvest, because that entire planet got glassed by the Covenant and burned. Everyone on it died, besides 2 people. Two UNSC fighters. They doinked on a ship as they're leaving. And it went into detail about the scene, but like not like she grabbed my member and slit. No, like none of that shit. But like they kind of gave some detail and like moved on.
I know.
Moved on with their life, and it was a good ending, even though it ended in a sex scene, because that was the end of the book. Like legitimately, that was the end of the book. But it like fit, and it was good writing.
I mean, it went out with a bang, you know?
That it did.
I think that's going to be my character trait for these.
Don't you fucking dare. Oh my god. Fuck. I have a whole nother topic, but we're like 10 minutes away from being done.
What's the topic?
Food.
Oh, we can knock out food in 10 minutes.
I like all food. There, I'm done.
I mean, to be honest with you, I do too, kind of. There's really not a lot of food that
actually
I don't like.
is sushi, and I've tried.
Oh, I fucking love sushi. I love sushi.
I just can't. I know. I've tried.
You're a communist. That's what it is.
I've tried.
I'm gonna do the thing that everyone does when you tell them you don't like a food, and I'm again, I get it. It's annoying because you tell somebody you don't like a food.
Right one.
Not that I'm asking. I'm not telling you.
Yeah, that's what partners.
Yeah. Wait, what?
What?
What did you say? No, we're gonna circle
What
back to
happened?
that. What did you say?
What happened?
You know I'm gonna listen to this recording because I'm the one that edits this. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you had like sushi where like rice is on the outside and with shit in the middle and like a seaweed wrap, or have you had nigiri, which is I guess quote unquote traditional sushi, where it's like a rice with shit on top of it.
I have no idea, Frank.
Okay.
Have you
I
tried
don't know.
fried sushi?
I've never tried fried sushi, but I want to.
No, I don't think so.
Because my wife also hates sushi unless
It's
it's fried
fried?
sushi.
I
Really?
will see, and again, I'm willing to try other kinds, but all the ones I've tried thus far, it's like the one thing I don't like. Oh wait, I take that back. Sauerkraut. I don't like.
Oh, I
sauerkraut.
fucking hate sauerkraut.
It smells.
Actually, I take that back.
Ugh.
My parents used to make, I think, maybe I'm fever dreaming this, but they made a.
What do you put on your hot dogs? No, I'm fucking passionate
I don't
about
put
this.
sauerkraut on a fucking hot dog. The fuck?
I don't put sauerkraut.
That's what you're supposed to put
I
it
know
on.
it's what you're supposed to put it on, but
My
I get the
family's
kielbasa.
super German. Yeah,
Same.
the kielbasa. That's what my family's German. That's
Yeah,
what they
you
put it on.
That's not a hot
No.
dog, my guy. That's
No.
sausage.
It's the same thing. Shut
It's
up.
fucking not. But yeah, my mom, who was also German, last name Edmondson, well, maiden name.
Sharf.
Oh god. She would make these like rolls with sauerkraut and like sausage in them. Thinking about them now, they sound delicious, but as a child, fucking hated them because I hate sauerkraut.
Smell.
I hated sauerkraut. But it was that way with Spam. Like I hated Spam, and I've started cooking Spam again. That shit's fucking
so good.
slaps.
It's so bad for you, but it's so fucking
Spam?
good.
Oh god, yes. It's like they took the asshole out of each animal, ground it up, and then put it in a can.
Imagine.
Does that really
Well,
got
When I
Chad?
took a drink.
R.I.P. the homie.
Oh, also, if you go to seafood places around pig producing plants, a lot of the squid that you're getting is not actually squid. It's butthole.
Well, I mean, most of the time you go to a Chinese restaurant, you're not actually getting chicken.
I mean,
Or
yes.
beef.
Yes.
You know what? I don't really care. Okay, don't tell me what
It's
it
still
is.
good. I'm
If
still gonna
tastes
eat it.
Good,
That's what I'm saying. That whole fucking
need to know.
documentary about like
I don't
hot
need to know.
dogs, what they actually
I
are,
don't give a fuck.
fucking chicken tender. I don't care, man. It tastes good.
Yeah. It tastes good.
I don't need to see how it's made. I don't need to
Makes
know
my
what goes
heart
in
go
it.
burr. And I like
I've
that.
been on that side of I've worked in a meat producing place before.
I bet you have, buddy.
Yeah, you get used to the smell.
Not meat handling, meat producing.
Oh no, I handled that.
Yeah, you did. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise, buddy.
Food.
Mhm.
I don't think I have anything that I'm like avidly against.
Come here, big girl.
Like I've had stuff that I'm like, I wouldn't choose it
Yeah.
if there were other options, but I don't. And I don't know if
How
that's
about-
like
Mm-hmm.
What's your go-to food then? If there's nothing that you wouldn't choose, what is
Ooh,
your like go-to choose?
sushi.
Yeah, sushi,
Is it really?
sushi or
I
pho. That
love
like if I
sushi.
need
Oh,
a comfort
ramen.
meal.
Ramen.
If I need a
Ramen.
comfort meal,
And I'm-
like the other day, I was sick,
Yeah.
and I had the money,
Ramen.
and it's expensive as shit to DoorDash
Yep.
it, because I spent like $40 on a bowl of pho, 2 of the pork rolls, and then a drink. It was $40.
Yeah.
But that shit, you get a full fucking meal. God, that shit's so good.
And when I say ramen, I don't mean even though I love it. I don't
Oh,
mean
dude,
like
I love-
the
I
cup
love-
noodles
yeah.
or top ramen.
Yeah.
I mean like
Actual ramen.
with like ham slices, fried egg. You know what I mean? Like
Um,
all the works in it. Oh my!
If you come visit again, there's a ramen place literally right on the other side of my apartment complex.
I know.
Did you eat there? Is it good? Ramen O Ramen, I think is what it's called.
Yep.
Okay, I haven't tried it yet. I want to go try it.
Sushi AI also has good ramen.
That's what I DoorDash sushi from.
Yeah.
Sushi AI.
So good.
Yeah.
Mine's probably Taco Bell.
Well, so that was my next
Taco Bell.
question. Was gonna wrap us up with what is your all-time favorite fast food place? Because mine is in
Taco
fact
Bell.
Taco Bell.
Yeah,
Ooh,
Taco
all
Bell.
time.
All time.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I have to lie, but no one's gonna know what this is, because it's a local thing. It was a local place where I grew up, but it's considered fast food, because it's owned by like one person, and it's just been open for fucking years and years and years and years. And every time I go back home, I eat it. It's called Mr. Burger, but it's not spelled like the Burger. It's their actual last name, Buerger. It's their actual last name. The original owners. It's been passed down for like 3 fucking families. But they're like a burger place, and they have chicken dinners, and I don't get burgers there. I get their chicken dinners because you get curly fries. It's fried chicken nuggets, but they're like the actual like chicken nuggets, fried jalapenos. It's the fucking tits. I love it. Oh, it's so good.
I think mine would be White Castle.
Never
That's
had
pretty.
White
That would be
Castle.
my close second.
I
What?
No,
I
I've never
cannot
lived next to a White Castle.
I cannot pass by one without wanting it.
I've
It's that ingrained in me.
I've gotten White Castle burgers, like frozen burgers. I've got those. Those were okay, but I've never.
Those don't do it justice when you get it straight from the
there.
tit. You know what I mean?
Straight out the tit.
Straight out the tit, dude.
Yeah, I've never
my
had White
God.
Castle. I've never had White Castle.
So good.
I really got.
Speaking of burger places, you know what place was blown the fuck out of proportion for me, and then I had it when I moved here?
In-N-Out.
In-N-Out. That shit's okay.
Me and my
But, like-
wife waited in line when they first opened
It
up.
was an hour and a half wait in line.
Yeah.
Like, it was
And
outrageous.
we were like, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
But it's not something to
I'm
wait
not
in
waiting
that
an
kind of
hour and a
line
half.
for.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
opened one
no.
up on the south side, so it's now like a 45-minute wait at each location.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's still bad.
Fuck
We
that,
went
dude.
when I went to San Francisco. We tried it, and it reminds me of like Steak and Shake.
That's
Like,
exactly
I
what
don't-
it is.
Yeah.
It's steak and
you
shake,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as Checkers. Like, Checkers is literally the same thing for me.
Ooh, beep beep, back. No,
We're backing it up?
no.
We're rolling it back?
Back it up, back it
Checkers.
up, back it up, back it up.
Is a godsend.
Checkers is good, but they're like...
Checkers will always have a special place in my heart.
Yeah, I know. Checkers
because
is a New Yorker thing, isn't it?
They have the greatest fries. I don't know if it's an East Coast thing, a New York
I
thing,
will
whatever.
give Checkers, their fries are good. Their fries
Out
are
of
good.
every fast food joint I've ever ate at, Checkers hands down has the greatest fries.
Have you ever had
And
Five Guys in
I'm
here?
talking about fries or like fresh and
Yeah.
like
yeah.
cold or like reheated. It doesn't matter. They will beat everything else up.
You guys, I don't know if you guys ran into this. You guys remember back when we were younger, McDonald's fries? They were so fucking good. But people, I don't know if this was just near me thing. They started a rumor that McDonald's fries had nicotine in them to get you addicted, so you would come back to get more food from them. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do remember that. I mean, there was a whole slew of fucking rumors that were just pointless. Like the whole, what was it, Marilyn Manson moving his bottom ribs?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Stay tuned to our
I do
next
remember
episode
that one.
on rumors that we were told.
That's a good one, actually. My rumor. I'm gonna get this one. This is a sneak preview. I learned this from this movie called Kindergarten Cop, and it was a rumor that boys had a penis and girls had a vagina.
Did they go to Jupiter to get more stupider?
Listen, on behalf of the people, I am offended. Absolutely appalled.
It's just a rumor. It was just a rumor.
That was such a good fucking movie, though. Oh my god.
Yes. I used to tell my mom I wanted to marry Kindergarten Cop all the time. I want to marry Kindergarten Cop. Yeah.
Respectable.
All right. Right. Wrap us up.
Yeah, that is the end of it. That's why I was like, all right, well, that'll be a good ender. Thank you all for watching this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the fucking Undiagnosed. This was such a different energy than the last episode we just finished recording. Just two completely different sides of the track here.
Oh my god.
Conspiracies,
favorites.
But anyways, thank you all for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, whatever the fuck you want to do with your life, because you live in a free world, and we don't matter. So
also, let us know if there's anything you want to hear about, and we'll talk about it.
What he said. Living in the free world. That song's been stuck in my head since I said that. I don't know who it's by. All right. Anyways, goodbye. See you on the next one. Or
Oh god.